And just like that, we're right back in the swing of things, also known as late. Right, I've got a quick bit of shopping to do. It's a sort of preparation day, because all of the rest of the days this week I'm out of the house in Peterborough. More on that tomorrow. So today I wanted to talk about chargers, and specifically what car manufacturers are doing in order to support the installation of electric vehicle infrastructure. Or perhaps I should say what they're not doing. The notable exception being Tesla, of course. People think that I'm always just bigging up Tesla, but the problem is they are the only people that actually do the right thing, at least when it comes to EVs. One of the things I've got to pick up today is some face paints for Jasper, because he's got a Halloween party last day of the week at school, and he's going to go as a zombie, because for some reason he's always liked zombies. I'm not sure what they're going to say at school about this. I might have to leave the zip off that zombie makeup, you know, for health and safety and 4-year-old reasons. But still, I think it's going to look quite cool. My plan is, I'm probably not going to get the opportunity to go for a run later in the week, so I'm going to have a really, really early lunch and try and squeeze it in before I pick Jasper up from school. So shopping done for the day. I was reading a story on Inside EVs about somebody who charged their i3 using a J-adapter, which basically goes between the Tesla proprietary thingamajiggy and J1772. So this was in the US, and he was charging his i3 from Tesla destination chargers. And the article was basically saying, is it right to do that, given that Tesla have donated the equipment and oftentimes paid for the installation, and it's supposed to be a Tesla only charger? Or is it just, you know, fair enough? I don't really know, you know, exactly where the sort of moral line lies there, but what is very interesting is that there are no BMW installed chargers that I've ever seen. So there's no attempt by that car manufacturer to support its customers, unlike Tesla, that goes to extraordinary lengths to install chargers for, actually, to be honest, what they often do is they install a charger for all the other EVs alongside the Tesla destination charger. So they are even making an attempt at being inclusive. Plus, in the Europe at least, because the chargers, the destination chargers, come with the Type 2, which fits the Tesla, that's actually a standard, so presumably you could plug that into any other car that has a normal Type 2 socket, which is basically all the cars sold in Europe, except some of the ones that go down the Japanese J1772 route, which I believe is Nissan. I don't know about Honda. I mean, do they even make an EV? Probably not. So that's got me all riled up, and it got me thinking about the fact that the only EV manufacturer out there that's actually making an effort to install infrastructure for its customers to use is Tesla. Everyone else is just basically going, you know, like petrol and diesel, oh, it's someone else's problem. We build the cars, somebody else supplies the infrastructure. The problem with that approach, of course, is it becomes classic chicken and egg. If you just wait for other people to install the infrastructure before you can sell a decent number of cars, you'll never sell a decent number of cars, because who's going to go to the cost of installing infrastructure for customers that aren't there yet? Whereas Tesla, they go, well, you know what, we're selling the cars, we're doing the infrastructure, people buy their cars, safe in the knowledge that there is at least one company out there that's actually full on heading down the route of, we will install chargers everywhere we can. We will install superchargers to enable you to do long distances, and destination chargers to enable you to go on holiday and not have to worry about how you're going to charge your car. Although, in my experience, actually going on holiday is one of the few times when charging from a wall socket actually works quite well usually, because you don't tend to go somewhere on holiday and then drive hundreds of miles a day. Otherwise, why would you have gone to that location for your holiday? Surely you would have just gone, you know, hundreds of miles away. Anyway, right, time to get cracking if I'm going to have this run, which I am. I suppose when it comes to the use of adapters, Tesla sort of go in for that as well with their CHAdeMO adapter, and also in the US they've got a J1772 to Tesla proprietary connector so that the cars can use the public charge points. And I mean, here's my take, right? Because you see, Tesla would have a big problem if people used the superchargers, and you know, somebody just built an adapter for one of those for, say, a Nissan Leaf. But the main reason they'd have a problem with it, I think, is not so much that other people would be charging their cars from the superchargers. I mean, obviously they should pay, and Tesla would enable that if other people could do it. But at the moment, the main problem is that if they were to charge, they would charge very slowly because they have small batteries with poor heating. And that's a big problem because it gums up superchargers and isn't displacing that many miles of petrol or diesel driving with EV driving, you know, for a given amount of charging time. And I think that's the reason why Tesla haven't just enabled lots of other vehicles to use the superchargers. I think in time, when the batteries get bigger on other vehicles, it'll make sense for Tesla to open up those superchargers to other manufacturers. Maybe. I mean, of course, they are a business. They need to make money, and I'd say it was one of their greatest assets, the supercharger network. And the destination chargers are handy, but they're not quite the same level of thing. For Tesla, superchargers are a huge part of their USP, of their value proposition, whereas BMW, Mercedes, I was going to say Toyota, but they're a useless company. I mean, then who else? You know, Nissan, Renault, these companies are not investing to anything like the same scale in charging infrastructure as Tesla are. So I think it's right that they should benefit from that. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to add on the subject. You know what I'd really like to know? Why don't these other car companies go, you know what, we're going to do it. We're going to invest and create a fantastic charging bay system. I mean, they could start with like 2 stalls and then 4 stalls and 6 stalls, you know, like Nissan or somebody. They could do that. You know, there'd be only 50 kilowatts perhaps, but 50 kilowatts is actually pretty decent. I charge this car on 50 kilowatt CHAdeMO all the time, actually 40 kilowatts. And it still adds a very meaningful amount of range and makes many journeys easier and more convenient than they would otherwise be. So why don't they just do that? Answer: they sell petrol and diesel cars as well. So they've got that mentality of, we will wait until the customers are demanding EVs and then we will support them properly, which is not good. Because by that point, hopefully, they'll be able to go off and buy themselves a Tesla Model 3 or the Model 3 Gen 2 or whatever, and these legacy petrol and diesel companies will have basically signed their own death warrant. Okay, run time. After my coffee. Unfortunately, that's all I've got time for, or I'll be late for Jasper. But I'm going to try and do a short run like that every day before my shower, because I find little and often is a really great way to be fit and healthy. It works well for me because I'm all about habit. So if I get into that habit of having a run every time I need a shower, hopefully I can stick with it. That's what's been causing the trouble since Jasper's been at school, because I found it really difficult to find a consistent time. Actually, that everyday habit thing is part of the reason why I like vlogging every day, because I actually do it. Oh, right, and that's the end of my time for today. And it's time to go find out if Jasper's been a good boy at school or not. I'm not going to put the bike in the back of the car yet. Let's wait and find out what the verdict is from his teacher. So, were you a good enough boy? Maybe next time. Just one more thing I wanted to quickly add in before I wrap up today's video, because it's sort of related, just to prove the fact that Tesla is so much more committed to infrastructure installations than anyone else. Guess what? They have just opened, more or less, a 50 stall, yes that's right, 50, supercharger bank in Shanghai. And they've already got some ones that are slated to open soon, I think in Norway, which are 40 stalls. These are huge quick charge installations that really show where quick charge and where long distance driving infrastructure is going to go. It's just that Tesla, rather than waiting for I don't know what in order to enable long distance EV travel, they're just going ahead and building it. And that really is fundamentally the difference between Tesla and all the rest. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's vlog post. If you have, remember to like it, share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next instalment of my daily vlog. Bye. Give me a thumbs up. You're gonna do that, yeah? No, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Come on, give me a thumbs up and tell me you're gonna be really, really good tomorrow, okay?
Thumbs down.
There you go.